now we cannot go to Chinatown because, you know what I'm saying? People will make that leap.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying get ready to go to the camp, okay? we all need to get sleeping bags because we're all going. They're all going to round us up, man.
And we are back with another episode of Asian Not Asian Podcast, the podcast where two Asian guys not from Asia talk about American issues no American cares about. I'm your host, Fumi Abe.
And Mike Nguyen.
Today is Saturday, June 19th. I don't know why I said it like that. 19th. I've been watching too much In the Heights. 19th. In the Heights. Shout out to Canal Street Market and Listening Party for having us. Check them out at 265 Canal Street if you're in New York City. They're back open again, and it's very lively out there.
And we're watching a whole a group of white children just walked by and waved at us like we were zoo animals.
Really?
So that was cool.
I didn't miss that about it. But anyways, if you're listening to this on your phones, please take a screenshot, post it on Instagram stories, tag us at Asian Not Asian Pod, and if you're an iTunes listener, please leave a review. Mike, it's good to be back in the lab with you.
So nice.
I have something to report to you, actually.
Okay.
So you know how we always tell each other when people recognize us in the wild?
Oh, yes. Somebody, that happened to me finally again.
Oh, you did?
Well, yes.
Well, let's exchange stories then.
Okay, cool. I mean, this was a chill one. This is a good old classic, what I would call the classic Asian fan encounter.
Yeah.
You know, just a cool dude. I was like, hey, man, what's going on? You know?
He just said hey and left?
He just said hi. He was like, oh, I'm a big fan, blah, blah,
Okay,
blah.
I had a sloppy white encounter.
Aha!
Because sometimes we talk about, do we have white fans? And apparently we do.
Apparently.
I was at this bar in Bushwick called, Tradesmen or something. I feel like you and I went there once. Tradesman?
Yeah, Tradesman.
Okay. Off, the Montrose or something. And I was there for,
home of the white man.
Home of the whites. And I was there, and there was, this, drunken kind of white dude, just came up to me, and he was like, oh my God, he had an Asian girlfriend. He's like, oh my God, I love your podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no way. I forgot his name. And we're I shook his hand. I was
cool.
like, that's so crazy.
Was it just like a Brooklyn bro guy?
Well, you know that part of the neighborhood is now changing to it used to be people who look like you, and now it's people who kind of work for Barclays. Or,
right.
Yes. They got money.
Yeah. So it was like that kind of guy?
It was like a finance looking.
Really?
I don't know what he does for a living, but he totally
he looks
sells
like that.
things and lies to people
He has
for a
a
living.
Patagonia vest. All right.
And he was like, oh, I'm such a big fan. I'm like, no way or whatever. And I didn't believe him at first because I didn't think that was their demo. And then he introduces me to his girlfriend. And he goes, Jen, this guy's so funny. This is Funami.
Like Kunami.
Yeah. I was dying.
Yo. At least he wasn't like, yo, I love his podcast. His name's Brian Park.
Yeah, that's true. But he didn't even I waited for a second because I thought he was going to be like, my bad, Fumi, but he didn't even.
Nope, just went along with it.
So clearly he's not a fan. I don't know what this was about.
Wow.
But
maybe we should say our names more often. Although we say it all the time.
I don't know. That's a fear as a straight Asian man. Are we putting ourselves out there enough? Are we speaking up enough?
I also I was listening to the podcast last week, and I was listening to with SJ and Woody. So mad, by the way, that you did it without.
That's not on me. That's on you.
I didn't know you guys were gonna have that. I was so mad. Anyway,
I did spring that on you.
You did. But I know because I love those guys, and I realize I can't listen to the show because I will stop the show every 30 seconds and insert myself into the show. Have you ever done that? You watch a movie so much that you know every line and you know exactly what's going on, and you stop it and you'll be like, I'm going to be also a character in the movie. I've never done that. Okay, maybe just me, but I will do that with the show. I will stop it. I'll go, actually, SJ, let me respond to that. And I'll just so I can't listen to the show. I do think too, based on what SJ was saying, as far as now she's dating a white man. I think it is now, we've gone full circle. Asian girls with white guys back.
It's back, baby. It's back. It's totally cool now.
That's right. Okay, everybody got vaccinated. Everybody is now cool with that combination. Remember, it wasn't cool for a little while.
We should have a grand reopening.
We should.
White guys.
Asian woman, white man. It was
the
back.
scissors.
Yeah, exactly.
Scissors.
It's a classic. It's like Ralph Lauren.
I love it. We love white guys out there. Anyways, let's get onto our Patreon, and then we'll get into our guest. We got to do a quick Patreon shout out for the people who donate to our podcast. Patreon, if you don't know what it is, it's the best way to support our podcast.
Yeah.
If you're looking around, you're like, oh, you guys have video now. You guys have editor now. We got a producer. It's because you guys give us money, okay? And you can give us as little as $5 a month. It really means a lot. So just go to patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod. And you get a bunch of bonus stuff. You get bonus episodes, a shout out, a DM. And another thing you get is we guess your ethnicity based on your name on this podcast. So we got 4 new donors this month. And the first one is Maria Lee.
Maria Lee.
That's
This is a
Chinese.
tricky one. This is the Jane Doe of Asian names.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Lee though.
Lee. I know, but that Lee, dude. I mean, that could be Korean. That could be Chinese.
Lee is Chinese.
I want to say probably
might
Chinese.
Be Korean.
Right.
Li is always Chinese.
It's a tricky one. That's why. I
Oh,
would
shit.
say want to say Maria.
I'm
too.
gonna
That's
say
a
Korean
tricky
because Maria is a Christian name and Koreans
one.
love
Nice. Okay,
God.
Korean.
Gotcha.
Right. Nice.
Then we have Yuki Kokubo.
Got you.
That's Japanese.
That's
as hell.
Japanese as shit.
My mom's name is Yukiko.
No shit. Oh, that's
Yes, it
right. I
is.
follow
Yes,
her
it
on
is.
Instagram. That's right.
We gotta talk about that, dude.
Nice.
Then we have Polina Pashkova.
Whoa.
Bro, this is like Bulgarian or something.
Yo, this is some straight up Black Widow shit right there. That's her real name,
is
isn't
that
it?
movie out yet?
I don't know, but
Oh, can't
but
wait.
she
It's my-
contributes to the Patreon.
Oh,
so
yeah.
shouts to Black Widow out there.
Thank you for the Bulgarian Asians out there. Finally, we have Andrew Lee. Li. That's Chinese. We solved it.
That's-
Right? Li.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Chinese.
That's Chinese.
Andrew Lee.
Andrew Lee.
I love a good Chinese name, by the
Good
way.
old classic.
I love
Chinese.
a Chinese American name.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Tomorrow's Father's Day. Do we know that?
Yes.
Because people always forget.
Yeah.
A comedian
I know
had a
what you
joke
mean.
about how it's like the 21st, like Mother's Day. Like
It's
they
so
did a
important.
survey, and like Mother's Day was like the second most important holiday for people, and then Father's
Right.
Day was like 21st or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But you know me, I don't have I'm not super tight with my parents or whatever, and we were writing monologue jokes about it at the show, and I wrote like a sad monologue joke about how like you never know what to get your dad or whatever.
yeah. Yeah.
And then everybody else was doing that, and I realized, oh, like even if your parents are together, even if you're close to your father, you really don't know your father.
Yeah.
Right, and that's like a universal topic,
Yep.
and I felt less alone in that moment.
Yeah.
you know?
Being estranged from your dad, no matter what, your race or upbringing that's a universal constant. I feel if you look in the Bible, Jesus didn't know his dad, right?
You're right.
So
What did he get him for Father's Day? You know?
what do you get a guy who has everything, right? So that's what Jesus had to worry about, and that shit continues to this day.
What are you gonna get your dad?
I'm not getting him anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's, I don't know, we've been honestly, my dad is so out of it. Like, I will not, like, he has dementia or something, but I will call him and I'll be like, Happy Father's Day. And he's like, okay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's happy to hear from me. He
Yeah.
doesn't keep track of shit like that.
Yeah.
He is like, the dude, he doesn't know his own birthday. You know what I'm saying? He's
Oh,
like,
right,
he's
right.
like, oh, what are you calling me
It means
for?
nothing to him.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
it's nice for me to call. He's like, oh, it's nice to hear from you. But he's not like sentimental.
Father's Day
like
in the
that.
past always has been like, if I call my dad back when I used to like in college or something, it'd be like, so we're like talking, I say happy for Father's Day, we're talking, and then we're talking for like 10 minutes, and I realize it's the longest I've ever spoken to him.
10 minutes.
And
That's
then-
a long time.
And then I just go, all right, can you hand the phone to mom? And that's how it's just every time.
The last time my dad called me, he called me and he was like, "Oh, I heard that you hurt your back," and I was like, "Wow, this is
Oh.
it. Now we can relate." Because he hurts his back, I hurt, father like son.
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
same
yeah,
side
yeah.
too. I like inherited his back problem. I also think I inherited his feet. Anyway, so like there's a lot of stuff like now I think we can actually start relating. But
Wow.
as far as like gifts, this is I think the thing. It's hard to buy stuff for dads because I feel dads like they've been sort of pigeonholed. If you're a dad, you can only have like 4 interests:
Yeah, and it's like grilling.
work, New Balance shoes, going to Costco, and sometimes Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like those
yeah.
are like the 4 things you can be interested in.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, and
Right.
I can't tell if it's chicken or egg because I don't know if when you're a dad you feel like you can't be into ballet or something. Like,
Right.
It's like I bought my dad once like a polo, and I don't even know. I'm sure he appreciated it,
Sure.
but it's not in his like purview of things he's interested in.
Right. I mean, that's
You
why
know?
people like buy their dad's ties or something.
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't make, what I'm saying?
Makes
Like,
sense.
if I really wanted to get my dad something worthwhile, I should get him like $1,000 you can use at the casino. That's what he would
like
use.
a voucher.
Like a voucher. Did I tell you?
That your dad lost all your family money.
Well, yeah. So
Gamble?
like, I can tell how my dad is doing based on the Christmas gifts we get. And so last time he got me and my wife. He's like, here you go. And it's an envelope. And I'm like, oh, maybe there's money. Open it up. It's a Skechers gift card. Skechers. And also a gift card and another gift card, I think, to like Dave and Buster's or something. And I'm just like, this is my dad is accruing these gift cards somehow through like some casino somewhere, and then is like handing them off.
That's like a
to us.
consolation prize. I think he lost a lot of money, and they're like,
That's
"Hey, man,
right.
I know you lost 20 G's, but
Here's a
can I interest you in
Skechers
some
gift card.
Skechers?
So, anyway, shouts to Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day,
Happy
man.
Father's
but
Day.
listen, I know our guest recently did a podcast with her father, so I think maybe they're like tight, you know. So maybe it's different for her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna find out. The theme today. Hey, is your dad being estranged? Is that Asian or not Asian?
Oh shit. That's a good one.
Our guest today, one of our faves, one of the OG guests, really put us on the map. I'd say.
Really? Yes.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
One of the literally one of the first episodes, people were like, "Oh, you guys are pretty good."
Oh yeah.
Definitely put us on the map.
You should just have her, and you guys should drop out.
Yeah. That's always the.
That's always the feedback.
It's like, love the guest. You guys are problematic. But she's famous. She's been on HBO Max's Love Life. She's been on Comedy Central. She's so funny. You guys love her. You guys know her. Give it up for Julia Shiplett. Hi.
Hey,
Hey,
Julia.
boys.
First of all, happy Father's Day, happy Pride, happy birthday.
Yeah.
So much
All
going
the
on.
things.
All the things.
All the things. What do you get? What are you getting your dad?
Nothing. I mean, I sent him a card.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
Damn.
he doesn't. I mean, we're not like a huge gift family.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
My dad's. The last thing I got my dad was a book on trees. My dad's obsessed with trees.
There you go. Okay.
Again, like weird dad hobbies.
Weird dad
This
hobbies.
is the whole
Yeah.
segment.
He got
Yeah.
very into trees in the past few years.
You mean like growing trees, looking at trees?
Literally looking at
Looking.
trees. Like
So
just
he doesn't know much about them.
he's trying to learn about trees.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
he takes like long ass walks every day.
Yes.
And just like looks at trees and like just tries to identify the trees and how old they are.
Yes.
And, like wants to
Wow.
know how they're communicating with each other and all that. 'Cause,
Really?
like, yeah. So I got.
I mean,
him
I
up on
gotta say
trees.
that's better than your dad getting into like World War II shit, you know? Because
Oh, he's
what?
into
How
that
dare
shit,
you?
too.
he's into that too.
Oh my God, I would
Because
talk so
dads
much.
get into that shit.
I do talk.
You know?
Yeah. I feel like all dads like it. All the interests just stem from the primary interest of leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? That's the primary interest. Is just I want to go for a long walk, or I
Yeah.
want to watch this documentary about World War II tanks.
Same with grilling. It's like I just want
Yeah,
to stare into the fire.
I just want.
So
yeah.
don't speak to me.
Just look into the fire.
Yeah.
What happened?
Where did it all go wrong?
Yeah. So I think. I think that's cool. Are you guys close?
We are close.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are close. We don't like talk all the time, but like we can easily have like an hour.
Oh,
Really?
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but you're close with your mom too.
Yes, but in a very different way. Yeah.
Mm,
Asian
mm,
mom
mm.
way?
Asian mom way.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a lot of, catching me up on things that I don't necessarily like need to know about and don't know what to do about.
Oh yes.
Or like
Yes.
getting lectured on stuff I didn't ask to be. I
Yes,
didn't ask
yes, yes, yes.
feedback on.
Yes.
Just a lot of nosy questions.
Has your mom been dropping like really sad stories yet? Has she started doing that? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you remember your neighbor?
She
She
has.
died.
She's dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
She-
you're
Stuff like I feel like the older I've gotten, the more she'll just also talk about like marriage in a way that I'm like, I don't want to hear this.
Oh,
about,
wow.
or like,
Ooh.
my popo is getting like pretty fucking old.
Yes.
And she's not doing like the best. And so
Mm.
my mom has gone out to Seattle
Okay.
like a bit to just be with her. And just really bummer stories
Yes.
about my sweet grandma that
Yes.
I'm like, I would really like to see her again before you just dump all this on me.
Oh
now.
my God.
But I feel like my dad and I have more conversations about like the world, maybe
Yes.
like outside stuff, like
Mm.
politics or just stuff like that. And I feel like with me and my mom, it's more like family,
Yes.
career, like pretty personal. You know?
Yes, I think
Mm.
definitely the mom vibe is let me continue the transfer of trauma from myself to the next generation.
Yeah.
Whereas the dad is like, hey, just leave me alone and let
Mhm.
me just handle my my problems in that just by being by myself.
I mean, shit.
And
My,
then we'll
my
talk
dad
about
gave
that.
me his business card last time I saw him.
Yes, there you go.
Like,
Oh
it's
my
it's
God.
very like
What's
it's very
going on
like
with you? It's, here's
professional.
my business card.
In case you ever need to contact me, Levy.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, add me on LinkedIn, Fumi. Add me on LinkedIn. Yeah, you also had
a birthday?
That was awesome, and I will say too, it was great to see everybody. And I
Mhm,
remember sitting there, seeing all these people, and going, I used to be so intimidated by all of these people at open mics. I always remember Ben Wasserman.
Oh,
That's what you're thinking
wait.
about?
That's what I was thinking
Bro.
about. Ben, I told you. I was like, Ben Wasserman, I would see him do stuff in comedy, and he's very funny, and I would be like, oh, I don't do comedy. This guy does comedy. I'm just like doing something stupid. And I was like, I'm watching an artist now. And like all these people were there.
He's kind of like your white counterpart in terms of fashion. I feel like.
We both have very small glasses. It's
Yeah.
a race. It's an arms race who can have the smallest glasses between me and Ben. But
Well,
yeah.
also watch your back, because yesterday I was hanging out with him and he was like, man, Mike Nguyen's wife is like so beautiful and cool looking.
Yes. Okay. Oh my God.
So
Ben,
he's
you son of a
trying to-
bitch. Okay,
Mike is
Stay
actually
in your
leaving
lane.
now with a machete.
Yeah.
You got an Uber to Bushwick, and-
Motherfucker. No, it was so cool to be at that party, and it was nice to see.
I would just like to say on behalf of this podcast, thank you for inviting us because
yes,
we
I
didn't
was
really know how you
so-
felt about us. To be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Yeah.
what do you mean? What do you mean? Okay,
We're
What do you mean? What do you? Yeah,
okay,
What do you
okay. Well, we
mean?
are
Okay,
friends.
let's get into it.
Okay, we gotta get into it because, and it's not a bad thing. But I was just
No.
reflecting on. We're like, oh, we got Julia back. You know, we've done this podcast like 4 times, and we were talking about, oh my God, you remember the first time she did this podcast, which must have been like 2018 or something.
Yeah, when
We
first
were like
started.
kind of joking around about like you had a boyfriend back then, and you had like tweeted that you were coming out as queer or
Oh
something,
God,
and we're
this
like,
tweet just will never go away.
Yeah.
but we were like talking about it, like, and you know, but since then you've kind of like, you know, really fully embraced this journey and like who you are, and I feel like you've really like evolved, if we're using Pokemon terms, and like it's been like so great to like see this transformation on Instagram stories and you know,
Instagram
stories,
not in real life.
not in real life.
Not in real life. We never see you.
Right.
Yeah.
but like it's as a friend I was like, oh, this is awesome because this is what, and you know, I think at the time we're just like, what do you mean, like what's going on here? But now I'm like, oh, I know exactly what she means, and it's so cool. But at the same time, I did feel, I think you also felt this way maybe, we were a little intimidated
Oh, dude.
by
By
your
me?
transformation.
Yeah, you know, you're like going, you're wearing
mean?
like this awesome dress at a wedding. You're in Love Life. I feel too that like seeing you on there, I was like, this is just her life. I think, you know, that I don't even know if she knows she's on set. She's just like living
By
her
the way,
best life.
yeah, you look so fucking cool in that TV
So
show.
cool.
Thank
So
you.
cool.
And it was, I will say that when I saw you there, I know it was like totally a different world because the character you play and sort of the milieu of the show is like way different from my real life. But when I saw you in there, I was like, maybe I could be like a very distant background character that's supporting Julia in some way. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was cool to see you in it. I
That's
thought that was
so
amazing.
sweet. But I was a very minor character.
Still.
You had a line though. I saw you. I counted.
I did have a
That's the
line.
line.
and
a
all the other
couple
comedian
lines.
friends didn't. So hey, you know.
And that was a missed opportunity, frankly, because like people. No, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but like,
Show's
very-
already out.
should.
Show's already out on
show's already
HBO.
out. Very funny comedians in that episode. People were like, you know, improvising a little bit. Like
Oh, yeah.
Rachel Pegram was like literally made the crew crack up once like, during, and like they didn't.
Oh, they
use-
missed the
they
bunch of
just-
that stuff.
It
yeah.
was sort of,
Trying to keep it.
Skip
you
to
know,
the
the
script,
Stars show, and that was kind of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, you
But
know,
yeah.
with this transformation, dude. I mean, it was like, to be honest, like I think it's the reason why I've been afraid to ask you to hang out over the pandemic, and I think it's because you're doing so, not even professionally, but I feel like you're doing so well, like personally. You know what I
Wow.
mean?
Yeah,
That's
we didn't
really
want to drag
sweet.
you back down
Yeah,
to the
and-
straight
no,
Asian energy
that's,
level.
That's what I mean, and like I know it sounds so silly,
You're
but
both doing great.
No, you
no,
are.
no, not professionally. I'm just
Oh, I
saying,
see.
like, I saw
Oh,
you
I
doing
see.
your thing, and it's like, oh, there's like in this new Julia equation, you don't need a straight Asian guy variable. You know what I mean? It would only bring things down. And I was like, I don't even want to be in her inbox, being like, yo, you want to like hang out and
Hey,
go eat
you wanna
ramen
go to-
or whatever the
You want to go to
fuck, you know?
Barcade?
Okay, I don't want to go to Barcade. No, but, I mean, yes, I'll get ramen. I'm the one who reached out to you. Remember, I was like, hey, just checking in. Want to see if you.
Yes,
talk.
yes,
Like,
yes.
no, you both. I think we both have equally been like, let's hang out, and then we don't follow up, and it's
Yeah.
not intentional. It's just because we get busy.
Yeah.
And I also like truly, I have been. I'm glad that I seem like I'm doing well because I feel like I've just been like floating in the abyss for 15 months. Like I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not really like.
Mm.
You guys both have like jobs where you're making money and you're busy with this and this is doing really well and like, you know, late night, amazing. Like,
Oh, thank you.
I
Yeah.
feel like we're all just doing great. No, well, maybe not great. Let's not.
There you go. That's what we
I
need.
feel like we're all doing our thing in a good way.
Yeah.
Also, I don't see people just as like, okay, Asian straight guy.
No,
If
I know.
If I
It-
fuck with you, I fuck with
It's
you.
it's
at
for
the
sure. To
end.
me, it was just you know, okay, this is all related because you last time I saw you, so we were trying to hang out at the beginning of the pandemic. It didn't work out because I don't know. You were going on a walk at 3 p.m. and I was like, I have a job. I'm so sorry. But you know, but
Alright.
my fault for not hitting you back up. But also like you and Tien did this amazing rendition of Bling Empire. It was a like comedic take on, I don't know, what do you call it? A table read, I guess, like a
Yeah.
comedic satirical
A reading
table, a
of-
reading.
Of
But
one of the
like you're
episodes.
but like actually making fun of the characters in that reality show because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And I, you know, you casted me as one of the guys on there, and everybody in that show is, I think, is either queer or was played by a queer person
in the reading.
Yeah, and I think this goes back to why I didn't hit you up, because I was there doing it, and I was like, I felt like I was ruining a really fun queer Asian party. Does that make sense? Because first of all, I don't even know why you had me, because I'm not a good actor, and B, my character sucked ass, and it was so boring, and I was like, I don't.
That's why we cast you,
I was
dog.
just like,
Who sucks? Bad.
No. But I was like, after the thing, I was like, this could have been funny if you casted like a gay person here or something, just like be ironic.
To play because your character was like a straight,
like he had so forgettable. When they told me I'm playing that guy, I had to like rewatch the thing to be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
Again?
So in Bling Empire, for our fans who haven't seen it, there's a lot of the characters are like kind of over the top of themselves, whether or not they are gay or not. And then there is one dude who is like just. He's like, I feel like he was one of those dudes like he didn't want to be in the show, but they just kept like getting him in the shot. And he's like, fuck, I'm in the show now.
Yeah.
And he was just like this basic ass dude, and
who didn't want to get married.
He didn't want to get married,
even though he had a kid.
He had a kid,
2 children with this woman.
Wow,
yep.
Amazing. Yep. I mean, so that's what.
Yeah. What was your casting thought process there? What was happening there?
I mean,
or even before that, like what was the thinking of like, hey, let's do this kind of funny satirical.
So did you guys watch the show?
Yeah.
We watched a good amount of it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's so stupid,
It's
right?
stupid.
And I was just like, wow, part of me was like proud to see Asians be such fucking dumbasses on TV. Like, wow, Asian people can be like this superficial and awful on reality television.
Yeah.
I guess that's progress.
Yes,
I don't know.
You're right.
But I was like, all these people were so ridiculous that I was like, this is funny.
Yeah.
This would be really funny to do something with. So I was like, maybe, I don't know, it'd be fun to do. I think I also just liked doing Zoom readings after I did my pilot over Zoom.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is kind of fun. I like kind of want to work on something. And like Jared and I like are like in a, we read Minor Feelings together. But we call ourselves a book club. We have not read another thing together. That's the only thing. We were going to read like a bunch of like Asian authors together. Didn't happen. But we just like talk and stuff. So I was like, maybe it'd be fun to do a reading with them. And Tien was like, yes, I want to be involved. So we sort of were like, also this was around the time that like a lot of awful shit was happening. And so it just felt like I was like, I don't know, that was weighing a lot on me. And I was like, if there's any way to potentially help combat this and also be funny and entertaining and, bring people together. So that was sort of the thinking there. And then I saw Bowen do a 5-second like Instagram story where he was imitating
what's his name, Kane or something?
Yes.
Oh yes.
And I was like, oh my God, wait, I need to make this. Yes, I have to figure this out. And then so Tien and I, we both were casting different people. I feel like she had people she really wanted. There's people I wanted. So it kind of just happened organic. I mean, the truth is like, it wasn't necessary. I mean, yes, it was very, very queer and very gay and awesome that way, but like it wasn't intentional necessarily. It was just, there's a lot of the amazing Asian talent, I think, in comedy and entertainment, they're gay. I don't know why. There's just a lot of gay 100%. Asians.
I feel that was an insult on us.
That wasn't an insult on us, for sure.
Actually talented.
All of them.
No, but I know exactly what you mean.
I
mean, like,
True.
obviously, like, it was cool to be a part of it and everything like that, but like, I guess, like, what I felt that day was a similar feeling to me, like, typing a text message to you and deleting it like 20 times to ask you to hang out. You know what I mean? It was just like, I don't think they need me right now.
Yeah,
I don't. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
though?
I felt like that.
By the way, this is not. I'm not throwing shade at any queer Asian comedians. Like, hey, we fuck with you. Y'all are Asian. Like, we've had you on the show. We love your comedy.
Yeah.
Dylan Adler, one of my favorite comics, working in New York right now. You know.
Totally.
But there still is like a special moment that they're having, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't even know if this is for me. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I feel, and I think we're gonna talk about it in another topic, but like, we want to respect people's spaces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You step into this is the octagon, all right?
Yeah.
You to go into Asian, not Asian.
Yeah.
This is where we talk about heel hooks and
butterfly knives, Zippo
nunchucks.
lighters.
How many kinds of Nerf guns do you have under your bed? I have at least 3.
Wow.
Okay? Rifle, and then 2 handguns, because you gotta be able to fall back on your different kind of weapon skills. Okay, so that's the octagon of Asian, not Asian.
Sure.
So we, that's our thing. We get it, but if we go to someone else's space, we want to be like, hey, you know what? I know you don't want to talk about concealed carry versus open carry. Okay, you want to talk about something else. You don't want to talk about the stopping power of 45 ACP. I get it. Okay, you want to talk about something else.
That's a great way to, I was just trying to take off my shoes,
respect.
basically.
Exactly.
I was trying to take off my shoes in your house. That's really what I was trying to do. Yeah.
But what if I invited you into the house? It wasn't like you just came over.
That's
it was
true.
like I said.
Yeah. I mean, there is an element of self-hatred for sure. That's just like, I don't have any value. But I, there's that for sure.
Man.
Especially when I'm in a thing with Joakim Booster and Bowen Yang. I'm like, what? But no, but that was great. And our producer found something very funny. I think you might have mentioned this on a podcast or something. Apparently you were trying to, so this thing happened. Even the cast members of the actual show showed up. It got a lot of press. We raised a lot of money, which is amazing. And you donated to a lot of causes to help, raise awareness against Asian American violence and whatnot, right? But we had heard that one of the institutions you were going to donate to didn't want to have anything to do with you or something, because it was Bling Empire.
Yeah, we were, one of the organizations we were donating to was basically like an LA Chinatown mutual aid.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they were like, listen, we don't really want to be associated with this show.
Wow.
We're about working class families.
Yeah.
We don't really fuck with the Bling Empire lifestyle. And I was like, we have nothing. I was like, we're just a bunch of comedians. This is not through Netflix. We do not know those people.
Yeah.
So honestly, when they showed up at the end, I was like, ooh.
Were they watching?
Yeah.
Oh,
I see. So that was like a weird, unexpected kind of. It was a good thing, honestly, because I think people donated even more after that.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit like, because it's just,
Did they you smoothed it out with them, and you're like, hey, we're some.
Was it a misunderstanding, or did they like not really understand what you were trying to do?
I think that they thought that it was like, hey, we're with the Bling Empire team.
We
want to do a reading to raise money.
Yes.
And we're like, no, we're a bunch of comedians just trying to make fun of shit.
You want to talk about working class, okay? Comedians. Okay?
I mean, I think that's like, I think that's also just shows you how, like any other group, it's like Asians are very different and have very different priorities and different senses of community and like, so just, and are handling things differently.
Speaking of social media, I do want to get into this topic. There's a comedian friend of ours, good friend,
very
funny guy, straight guy. Made this video. He's got like a decent following on Instagram, whatever, and he's kind of getting famous for putting up like little funny bits, kind of like what people do on TikTok. No big deal. They're usually pretty funny. I've enjoyed them certainly. But he recently posted a video recently, and the whole premise of the joke was he was acting out a straight person in entertainment who is not experiencing a lot of success as of late, and then the punchline is this person is now going to come out as gay or queer or gender non-binary, and I think he added something more ridiculous for the sake of comedy. But that was like the joke. The setup is like nobody wants straight guys. Punchline is now I am a transgender lizard person or whatever. That was kind of the joke. And he's got a lot of followers, so it did pretty well. But I saw that a lot of our comedian peers and just other people in the comment section were like a little, not even like upset initially, just like, oh, what's happening? Like, you're not that guy. Yeah. You're not the guy who makes this kind of stuff. And I just wanted to, I know we all saw it. First wanted to ask your take on it. What is the Asian not Asian response to this?
What do we say in the octagon here?
What do we say in the octagon here? As you sharpen your butterfly knife.
Yeah, as I sharpen my butterfly knife. I thought it was like, I thought he was taking a shot at people who are faking. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or people who like co-opt other movements in order to like
for their
do
own
that.
gain. Yeah.
From just like a pure comedy joking thing, I was like, oh, whatever. It was like, this comedian is very, very, very funny. I know that this person is very, very funny, and a lot of their videos are very, very funny. And this was like not a great one of funniness. Like, fine.
Sure.
And then I was like, oh, okay, well, he's just kind of taking a shot at people who are trying to co-opt movements. Which was okay, all right, sure. And then I didn't really think about it like afterwards. But
I definitely had like I'm pretty close to this person, and I'm a fan of his videos. But when I saw it, and I'm not even. Anos, I'm not even that woke. You know how it is? I'm just a guy who reads a book a year, But even me, I had a little like, when I saw the video, I felt something in my chest. I was like, Like I did have like a...
Well, like we were saying earlier, hey, you know what? There's like our turf
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's the octagon, and then there's outside the octagon.
Yeah, like
And-
did he take off his shoes? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly. Did he step over into another non-octagon
Because
area?
I think a lot of it is, I think I can only speak from just being an Asian comedian. I don't always enjoy it when non-Asian people make jokes about Asian people, unless it's so
It has to be
funny.
super
It has to
good.
be so funny.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's like, don't talk about me.
Yes, I saw a white comedian do a joke about like, he was like, oh yeah, Chinese people like, blah, blah, blah. Like as soon as you mention that, I already my butt is tuckering up. My butt is already like squeezing together and going like, okay, what's going to happen? So you're already starting off.
And you're not
at,
even Chinese.
Yeah,
but you're doing it for your brothers.
I'm
and
doing
sisters,
it for
man.
my homies, and I just know right away like that's already like you got a deficit here. You got to make up for it in order to like for it to be funny.
Yes.
And
yes.
if it's not like a really good thing, then you might end up with a negative. So I think that there's lanes you got, that this is your thing you can talk about. Not to say you can't talk about other things, but you better be really on point.
Right.
But I wanted to hear also what Julia, I feel you had a lot of stuff about that.
Well, I mean, it's not. I think we've seen versions of that sentiment on Twitter.
Yes.
From straight male comedians
It's
before.
not an original thought.
No, it's not original, which makes it kind of tired already, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But also just, I think that it's like, I don't really get why. Like, I want an example of someone who's done that, and then everything has just they like blew the fuck up, and you can directly correlate that part of their identity changing the course of their career. Because I really don't think of that. I think if maybe people have come out, grown into themselves, are sort of now the best version of themselves,
right?
And then their career is doing better because they're happier and more comfortable with themselves, and like exploring this new thing that is like part of who they are, and that makes them shine brighter. I can't like. That was not the video, right? It was hey, everybody, So that to me was just like, I was like, this isn't accurate. And if you really believe this, name names.
Right.
Show receipts.
Yeah. It's like a false premise almost.
It's
like,
a false premise.
It's not true.
And I think to Mike's point, like I've had like queer friends in comedy sort of express something a little bit similar. Not like that, but just like interesting how blah 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 whatever. Like I've had that conversation.
What do you mean? Sorry, I don't get what you mean.
I guess like, first of all, I truly think that everyone is fucking bi.
Asa Akira said that like 2 years ago on this podcast.
I mean, I think that it's like I don't think that is like.
I don't think you're wrong.
Like I think it should be like such a basic, boring thing to say.
Right.
And like you should have to come out as gay or straight if you're those. If you know, like I just that's kind of what I think.
Yeah. That's okay.
That's great. That's great.
So like
yeah.
I have had I've had queer comedy friends who are like, there's a lot of people coming out as queer, but they sort of like women coming out as queer, but only really date guys.
Oh, so you guys talk about it too?
Sure.
Oh.
But
okay,
it's
I didn't know
also
that.
different coming from a queer person because it's like that is their space.
Yeah.
So sort of, it's what Mike was saying. It's just like otherwise, if that's truly not your territory, you have no stake in this.
Yeah.
You sound like you're punching down.
Yeah.
And it's just like what and I think that video jumped from being bi, which like I just said is honestly boring and not that interesting, to being trans, coming out as trans. There's a huge difference between those two identities, and I feel like just being that flippant about saying I'm trans in a joke is like really not okay, because that's also like a deeply hard experience for a lot of people.
Yeah. No one's like, you know what, talking to their manager and is like, hey, you know what, I got a new career move.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be trans now.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's ever. Come on. Remember that time I had this long argument with a what is it called? The guy who's like devil's advocate. Devil's advocate guy.
Yeah.
Because they'll argue about stuff in the abstract.
Totally.
It's like, oh well, if this is
they have
okay.
no skin in the game.
Exactly. So, and to your point, you can make a joke. I could make a joke where because K-pop is so popular, I'm actually Korean. You know what I'm saying? Like that's and that's not a great joke, but it's like you can kind of see where this goes.
Yeah.
Like I get it, but that doesn't fly for other kinds of identities. You know what I'm saying? Because
K-pop is not an identity.
K-pop is not well, Korean is an identity, but like, you know what I'm saying? So you can't like you can't take one of these things and like port it over to another kind of identity, because those things are, even though, you know, in the media people kind of like talk about these things in the same sentence, they're not the same thing.
Like, right.
So
yeah,
I think that's rarely where you like when you try to pull it apart and it doesn't work. So
also, I just think like, to me, when I watched that, it just also made me feel like you are not having conversations with people who are like personal conversations with people who are telling you things about their identity that they're figuring out privately.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, I think if you had a friend who like came to you and was like, hey, like, so this is kind of happening, like, you wouldn't do a video like that.
Oh,
like, it just feels like, oh, you are that straight. Wow. Fuck. That to me, it was just like, you really don't have any idea.
You know,
like,
I saw. Okay, there's another comedian. I won't mention his name. I saw. This is a great point you make, because it all goes back to like, if you personally know somebody who is that identity or race or whatever it is, like if you know them, if they're homies, I feel you have like a newfound respect for everybody, and it's harder for you to make hacky jokes like that, because, for example, like I saw another comedian, is like a friend, you know. I saw him post a video on like a Comedy Cellar thing, like, you know, on Instagram, and the joke was, you know, what are Asian people's struggles? Like homework, like that's and he goes into it, right? It's like, and you know, he like caveated with like, this is before Stop Asian Hate. But that's not. It doesn't even matter, because those apparently. I mean, to be completely.
caveat.
That's what. But it was so funny. It's like,
oh my god.
It's like,
wait, hold on. Is this joke? Is this before Stop Asian or after Asian? Okay. I just want to know. Okay.
But it's like, you know, but even that said to me, oh, you didn't think nothing happened to us until those 8 women died, right?
Yeah.
Like you, and then so in your mind before that, everything was, you know, we work at Google. And sometimes people call us ching chong, but at the end of the day, we drive Teslas and it's all good, baby. Like, right? But like, because I don't think he has like a close Asian friend who talk about the stuff we constantly talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I don't think bad dude. I just think he doesn't know.
Just a narrow view.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a narrow view. Yeah.
Right. And then you're getting this view from, you know, wherever, like the dominant media, whatever. And that's how you end up, like, you know, having those kinds of jokes, and that's why all this representation stuff is important, so that you can like understand, because once you like look someone who's going through those things in the eyes, you realize, oh, this is going to affect their life. So it's not just like a, you know, you know, you owe it to them to like be able to do the right joke or what have you. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like a.
I also just think like slapping like a. Prefacing, this is before.
Hey.
I mean, it was the same with the video. There was a comment that was like, I only have love for my real rainbow flag and trans flag. And it was like, so what about people who are like figuring their shit out?
Right.
Yeah.
They're not real.
Right.
Like, you can't just represent two huge communities with a flag.
They're not.
Like,
they're more than an emoji.
Real ones, the real ones, no.
You know, like the most problematic rapper. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wait, what is the trans flag? I didn't know they had one.
It's like a. Is that a pink and blue one?
It's pink and blue and white.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's real great.
Yeah.
I didn't know. They didn't tell me about it.
Yeah.
I wish they would have let me know. You know. The comment section is crazy too, because even on the example I was talking about with the Asian bit, like a lot of people in the comments are like, he's right. Like they don't struggle. Like, and I think, I mean, it's not true. Like some people were like, oh, they do like, I forget what they called it, but it was basically like, you know, they're all about colorism. They don't fuck with black people, you know. And sure, some Asian people don't fuck with black people, but you know, there's like 3 billion of us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. It's just
with that sort of thing. I mean, I guess the easiest way to think about it is like, you can talk shit about your own family, but don't talk shit about, you know what I'm saying? Don't talk shit about somebody else's family. You know what I'm saying? And like,
right.
I know, because all those, like, if you see, whenever there's an Asian joke and it's like, yes, Asian people are, you know, whatever, they're racist or they are colorist or and all these things. Trust me, I know. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it also.
Yeah.
Let me deal with it. All right. You.
I
got this. Okay. Let me go and do this thing. Follow my podcast, and also let me. You know, like I will. That's what. You know, there are people on it You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's like all the things that people are mentioning. It's like,
right.
I know there's a problem
You're
between
right.
Asian
This is
people
not
and
helpful.
colorism.
Your
discussion.
perspective
Yes,
is
this is
not
you're not helping.
moving the conversation.
Right,
exactly.
right.
You're not helping.
That's a great point.
This is not it. So,
Yeah. Listen, Mike, you know me on the podcast, I like to laugh like an insane person, spread joy through jokes and inappropriate comments. But is that how I feel on the inside in 2020? Absolutely not, Mike.
No, man.
It's a dark mess in here, dude. Sometimes I'm really sad. Sometimes I'm a little depressed. I'm really stressed. You know, and I think a lot of people with the pandemic, they're not really sure about job security. And that's a huge source of stress for a lot of people. And I think if any of our listeners feel this way, they should check out our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist.
Connect in a safe and private online environment. It's so convenient.
You can start communicating in under 24 hours.
This isn't self-help. It's professional counseling.
Send a message to your counselor anytime.
You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions.
Woo! All without ever having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. You know how those waiting rooms can be, bro.
BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches. So they make it easy and free to change counselors if you need it.
And it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available.
Licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, and self-esteem.
I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/Asian. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Asian. Summer's here and the living ain't easy if you've got a swamp ass. How will you stay on top of your sweaty bottom? Try a refreshing spray from a Hello Tushy bidet. Keep your sweaty crack clean all summer long with the brand new Hello Tushy 3.0 modern bidet attachment. It's a stylish, eco-friendly, refreshing little shower for your ass. Hello Tushy 3.0 cleans soggy butts like a champ. But it doesn't stop there. It cleans itself with the Smart Spray. That's trademarked. Automatic self-cleaning nozzle. No one wants to work up a sweat in the 100-degree heat. That's why the Hello Tushy bidet attaches to your existing toilet with no electricity or extra plumbing needed. And Hello Tushy cuts toilet paper use by 80%, so it'll pay for itself in a few months. Plus, Hello Tushy's got your ass covered with a 60-day risk-free guarantee and a 12-month warranty. Already got a Hello Tushy on your pot? Treat your ass to the new 3.0 model. If you're new to the revolution, join millions of happy Hello Tushy customers right now and have a clean butt with every flush. Defeat swamp ass. Go to hellotushy.com/ANA to get 10% off plus free shipping. This is a special offer for our listeners at hellotushy.com/ANA for 10% off. hellotushy.com/ANA.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Stop Asian Hate, you like my transition?
Before or after?
Before or after? I'm gonna do all my jokes.
I'm
like
gonna do that.
This is before Stop an Asian. This is before those 8 women die, so it's totally chill, guys.
This is fine. So for people who didn't see, you know, Jon Stewart was on Colbert, and he was kind of going off on the lab theory, what is called the lab theory, the theory that the novel coronavirus came out of a lab in Wuhan, and his whole thing, which is like such a comedy thing, was that there is a lab called the coronavirus.
That's
lab.
a lie, by the way.
Huh?
It's a lie.
It's
not.
It's not called that.
It's not really called that. Yeah, I know.
It's called Wuhan virology
lab. Right.
It doesn't have the word coronavirus.
Right. So it has. So you know, he was saying that there's a lab called the Wuhan virus lab. Right. And therefore, why wouldn't the virus come from the place that it was named? You know what I'm saying? So he was kind of like doing that. And I see what he was doing because, like, as a comedian, you're like, your job is to like remix words, you know?
Yeah.
And you're just like putting things together, and it's like, oh, isn't this a funny coincidence?
Yeah.
Right. And you know, I feel that Colbert was like trying to like rein him in a little bit. Like, you know, he had a couple of things he was saying about. He was then saying like, yeah, there's also like a lab in Daytona called the Daytona Herpes Lab. You know, like, why is that? You know, it's because there's a lab in Wuhan to study the virus, because there's a lot of viruses that do come out of Wuhan because of science and nature, right? There's a lot of remixing happening in there. Anyways, my whole thing was, I'm not here to actually argue about whether or not the lab theory is right or wrong. Like, hey, I want to hear what the scientists have to say about it. But what I want to say is, kind of bummed that Jon Stewart went like pretty hard on this, like for like 5 or 6 minutes, right? And second, I think for a lot of people, the case is closed now. You know what I'm saying?
They already
Like,
made up their minds.
yeah. And I think
That
that's
is what
they're gonna say the lab theory is right. All right, because
Mm.
there is a virus lab. I heard about it somewhere. There's a virus lab in Wuhan and they make new viruses. I think there's a really crazy narrative that's happening that there's going to be like kind of like a Cold War, I feel, between China and America, because recently like Biden is working with Europe to like do a lot of shoring up of things like economically because China is like such a big economic threat and a military threat. And so I don't know. I feel like you take that and then you take this whole thing about like whatever Asian Chinese virus, this, that, Wuhan lab, this and that, and people are going to like put together a story in their mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's something where the overarching thing is, are we all ready to go camping? Which is to say internment camping, because I feel they're going to put us in a camp for sure.
All Asians.
Yes. I mean, it's that tenuous. I feel it's that. It's not too many steps away from going, China's a threat. China released the virus.
Yeah, back to the Japanese.
Hey, there's some
internment-
Chinese people here.
Yeah.
What should we do with them? You know what I'm saying?
Wait, can you clear up something for me? Why did you say bummed that Jon Stewart went in on this hard for 5 minutes? What does that mean?
It's a bummer because like I look up to him as like
is that because you don't believe in the lab theory, or is it just the way he did it?
I think it's
because he has the power to.
It's very dangerous, I think, to put
whether it's true or not.
People are going to be like, they're going to default to the other stuff they've already heard about Chinese people.
Mhm.
Okay, like the
Oh, okay,
Chinese
okay.
people are this, and you know, like there's a phrase that people say in New York all the time: "Hot Chinatown garbage." You know that phrase?
I've never heard
Like
of
people
it.
say, "Oh, it smells like hot Chinatown garbage in here." Chinese people are like in America are thought of as being dirty.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you take that, you take the Wuhan thing, you take the lab thing, like you have a joke, and it can become very easily weaponized. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's. I'm not saying the lab theory is right or wrong. I'm just saying that like when you put something
the
like
way
that
you-
out, there could be
the way he did it.
Yeah, it could
you
just.
know?
There's a lot of collateral damage you
Mhm,
do.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you're trying to. I don't think he was out here trying to be like Chinese people are doing this. He's trying to make a point about this whole thing, but because it's in China and because there's a lot of Chinese people in America, there could be a repercussion that it's, you know what I'm saying? Like it reinforces the narrative. It reinforces the narrative. There is a threat. There's a threat. They're coming for us. We saw this in the 90s with Japan. It was like that again and
Yeah,
again
they're
and
smashing
again.
cars.
Exactly.
Remember? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like disappointed. I was like, because if there was like an Asian person on there, you know, they would be like, hey, I get what you're trying to do with this like thing. And it is like as a comedy thing, I get it. You're making like a play on words, but I have to be careful now because you said that joke when I go outside. So just put it out there. You can say the joke, but now I got to watch my back.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think about
I mean,
that?
surprising how he was like, no, this is what he
Yeah.
was so. Even though it was like in bit form and he was doing a character and he did a whole thing with the camera.
Yeah.
It was basically like, no, this is how coronavirus started, and it's like
Right.
I don't think we
don't know.
scientists know. I don't think
Yeah, I
we
don't
all
know.
know.
Yeah, I know. I don't have. I did
I
very
don't
badly
know.
in bio. Yes, exactly.
So yeah,
It's just like, yeah, I mean, he could just, that's the thing. Remember when we had Roy Wood Jr. on? He was
Yeah.
like, the difference between an activist and a comedian is a comedian will take one step into the uncomfortableness and step back and go, I'm just joking.
Right.
Right? Whereas I feel like he may not have known about this collateral damage, you know, maybe, and if people get hurt from this, he's probably just gonna be like, I was just joking.
Right.
You know, and that's what's so like, it's hard to explain all this to somebody who's about to appear on TV and has to be funny. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
he is also at this point kind of an activist. He is
Right.
an activist for other things. So
Yeah.
it's not like he's just like
That's exactly right too.
a shit stir
right.
comedian. He like
Sure.
actually gives a shit about a lot of stuff. Also, can we talk about how bad his outfit was?
Yes, I wrote that down.
My
What was going on
God.
there?
Jesus
I
Christ.
think
that
that's
was
half
one of
the
the-
reason why people are upset.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
was actually the other
That
thing.
was
I
the
was
most
like, yo,
offensive.
yeah. Excuse me. First of all, the Asian stuff, and then the second, the skinny pants. What's going on?
Skinny gray jeans.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
and
and the weird like old dye shoes.
Yeah, they were like these weird boots he was
The
wearing.
sneakers.
He also like
They're like black hokas or something.
I thought he had a beard because he just gave off that vibe, but I watched the video again and I realized he didn't have a beard. Like he didn't have a full like a Letterman beard, you know.
Oh, he
but
just
he
had
had
a
this
full
like
thing.
crazy like I always call it like old white guy-nitis, you know. He just has that vibe of like just being crazy.
Yes. So that's why you need, throw some Asian people on there. They would tell you A, be careful about this lab joke, and
Yeah.
B, don't wear those pants.
But do you think that like okay, let's just say it comes out officially that it came from a lab, right?
Yeah.
Then do you think that this joke matters? You know what I mean? Like
Okay, if let's say the lab theory is true,
Yeah.
okay, I think that's fine. Just again, you have to separate out the science from the race thing.
right.
That's why
right.
we call it Delta virus now. We don't call it
I didn't know
the
that.
virus from India.
Oh, yes.
What
Because
did
they learned
Australia
from-
do? They don't let Indians into their country. Australians.
Mhm.
They don't let Australian Indians into their country. I'm talking about Australian citizens who are
in
Indian
India.
into their country because India has there's a variant there
Right.
that
And it's
started
spreading-
there.
Right.
So that's not a separation of the science and the race. They just
Right.
blanketed everybody who's brown from India. Y'all
Right.
can't come in.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. It's really easy,
To get it mixed.
really easy to go from, we're talking about mutations. Like a joke can mutate into a policy that's really bad. Really
Oh
fast.
shit.
And
dude.
all the shit is there already. Chinese
Mm.
people are this. They're in this country. They're doing all these things.
we already had like a round one of violence.
We really
They already-
did.
they already
really
used
did.
to it,
And all
yeah.
that came out. And then now if the lab theory is true, then like let's look at the science of it
Right.
rather than go, now we cannot go to Chinatown. Because you know what I'm saying? People will make that leap.
Yes.
And that's why I'm
yes.
saying get ready to go to the camp, okay? we all need to get sleeping bags because we're all going. They're going to round us up, man.
Yeah.
And it's like it's crazy. It's so easy for people to just make that connection.
Right.
know?
Right.
So anyways,
Yeah.
this is one of the last times we'll be in this studio.
Yeah, we'll probably get arrested. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I think I told you the story, but I did go to I went to the Japanese American History Museum in LA. When I
Oh
was
right,
there,
yeah.
And they like rebuilt some of the internment camps.
Yes.
It's bigger than your apartment.
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
good.
Hey,
it's pretty
you
good.
know what?
So
That's how good construction was back then. You know what I'm saying?
They don't make them like they used
The
to, man.
internment camps the internment camps now they're probably real shitty.
Oh my God, they
Oh,
are.
they're gonna be so bad.
God damn it.
You know, no Wi-Fi. It's gonna be so bad.
The All of Us research program wants to gather health information from 1 million or more people. They want people from all walks of life to take part. That means young and old people, men and women, and people from cities and rural areas. It means sick and healthy people, and it means people of different races, ethnicities, and sexual orientations. They will collect information such as your height, weight, health conditions, and medicines. Researchers may be able to use this information to better understand and improve health for all of us. Wow, that's a pretty intense thing to say. Some of you guys might be freaking out right now, like, what are they trying to do to me? Basically, all of us are trying to get to know, basically you guys, and a lot of you guys are Asian American because a lot of Asian Americans don't participate in these studies, and it makes it difficult for scientists to research us because Asian Americans have unique health concerns, right? And you know how that is. Mike has a very different body than I do. You guys know that. Mike we're the same height, but he's a little thicker than me, and his armpits smell like shit. And me, I have daddy issues. And so those are different health concerns. And that's what All of Us is all about. The more people who join, the more information researchers will have and the more they will learn. Ask your friends and family to join to make a difference at joinallofus.org/Asian, not Asian.
This is everybody's favorite segment. It is Das Race
News.
Did we all watch In the Heights, by the way? Did we all watch it?
I
Did you
did.
watch
No.
it?
You
It's
didn't
okay
watch
if you
it?
didn't
I
watch
haven't
it.
seen it yet.
It's
It's
totally
good.
okay.
You
It's
know,
totally
it's very
We
okay.
both did.
Oh yeah, I'm like a big Broadway guy, but yeah.
Are you?
I love
I
that.
We
love
should.
Broadway.
We should. Okay.
Are
That's-
you? Is
I
that
love
a common
Broadway.
now? Is that the one thing we have in common?
Are you
love
both?
Broadway. I love Broadway stuff.
Yeah.
I wish that life was about singing and dancing just sporadically out of the street. I love
wait
that
Okay,
stuff.
I think that should be part of your fucking octagon.
Yeah!
I feel like that doesn't fit the rest of the brand.
You're
but
right.
it should.
There should be a musical about butterfly knives. Oh wait, that's probably West Side
I
Story.
can't wait for like some sort of like Asian American musical. I don't know what the fuck it would be about. Not Asian. Like I want some.
Yes.
I want a story about some kid who can't go to prom because nobody wants to go with him in Ohio.
Yeah, dude.
Is it about me? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I want.
So
Maybe the main
early.
character. Maybe the main
Specific
character.
and personal.
Yeah, exactly. Is a character named Fumi? Maybe not.
Maybe.
Whatever.
Is his dad always working?
I
Maybe.
do love musicals. We should do that for Patreon content. We should go see.
Yeah.
Who have
We gotta team up with Dylan. He
have
can help
you
us.
have
Yes.
you been to what was the one?
I mean, I got the bootleg version of Dear Evan Hansen because I couldn't wait for the movie to come out. So
Okay.
I just watched the whole thing.
you haven't seen that on Broadway though?
I have not. I mean, because tickets are kind of hard to get to, but also like they're very expensive. And like I didn't have a lot of money until like
Right.
3 weeks ago, so I really haven't. You know what's crazy about In the Heights? I went to go see. That's the first Broadway I ever saw with my parents.
Yeah.
We went when
Oh.
they helped me move into NYU,
Oh, that's cool.
and you know, they don't really speak English, let alone you know, English with a like sort of a Spanish accent and rapping.
Yeah.
So like I don't think they understood what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
But that was like sort of my exposure to musical. But I fell in love with it because it was like everything you've seen In the Heights.
Yeah.
Have you seen it live?
I have seen it live.
Dude, fucking blew my mind
Amazing.
when I first saw it.
Yeah.
When I first saw it. But there has been some backlash, unfortunately.
Yes.
A movie came out
Well,
on
the movie.
HBO Max,
Yeah.
In the Heights.
Fair.
Directed
by
John M. Chu,
yes.
director from Crazy Rich Asians,
Mhm.
and obviously an adaptation of the play by Lin-Manuel Miranda. And what did it say here? The new film adaptation of Miranda's Broadway show relegated its Black Latinx community to the background and sparked a debate about colorism. Despite an early onslaught of critical praise, the highly anticipated film adaptation of Miranda's first Broadway musical, In the Heights, failed to draw crowds to movie theaters over its premiere weekend. Instead, a wave of backlash surfaced over the film's lack of visibly dark-skinned Afro Latinx characters, the very community the film purports to represent. I've never been up there, but I gotta. It's New York City. I gotta imagine there's all types of Hispanic people up there.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about like Chinese Cubans,
Sure.
you know, Japanese people from Peru.
Right.
Like, you know, they're probably all up there. And I did watch the movie. It's weird because like maybe this is something I need to work on. When I watch Asian films, like I got my like woke goggles on, and I'm like,
you're looking out for the right.
well,
how
I
they're
just want to make
representing-
sure there's enough people in there who've been called ching chong in their life, and you know exactly what I mean by
yes.
that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of times,
Explain.
we will get into it. We'll get into it in a second. But you know, I think Hollywood prefers less ethnic faces.
Oh,
right?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I mean, this
Yeah.
is not me making it up. This is a thing in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Like for a long time, a lot of when they would cast black actors, it would just be light-skinned black actors.
Yeah.
This is a fact, you
Yeah.
know. So now I you know, Asian people got something similar. Now the Latinx people, they're doing something similar. But I watched it. I didn't really think about that as I was watching it. Maybe because I was excited. Then I read this afterward. Then I was
Yeah.
kind of like bummed. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know. Is that something you were paying attention?
Well, I
paying
was.
attention to?
I thought that I know there's like a one major black character in it.
Benny.
Yes, and I was
Great
like,
voice.
yeah, and I was like, oh, is that person supposed to be
Like
Afro
Yeah.
Latin? And I guess not.
He's
So
just a regular guy.
sorry, so that was like, oh, okay, that's cool because and you know, when I first moved to New York, you know, I learned more about like the different kinds of people that are in like that make up the Latinx community. So I was more aware of like, oh, there should be all these different kinds of, you know, colors, I guess you would say, right, in the movie. And I did notice that it was a little bit it wasn't quite like what you might see. Really?
If you actually go to 100,
right, but
100
like
Street,
you know, at least they didn't have major characters. It would be like some background actors that were like that, or
Yeah.
some dancers or something like that.
yeah.
So it totally makes this criticism totally makes sense.
Well,
I
one
do
of the
think
things is
that-
like they were saying it wouldn't have even maybe come up if it was produced by like a white guy, but you know they had two people of color. They had Lin-Manuel Miranda and Jon M. Chu,
right,
and so they felt that with everything that's going on right now, a lot of people think it's a like a conscious decision. You know,
Yeah.
it's like not
Huh.
fair for them to be like, we weren't thinking about it. It's
Oh.
not fair because it's like, how could you? Literally this entire year we're talking about race. You know,
Mm.
so that was sort of like their criticism. But yeah, what do you think about that, Julia?
Well, I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Are you familiar with the story?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, we can kind of like back it up to just like colorism and
I mean, that's
movies.
that's the
you
thing
know.
for Asian people for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If the role is for an Asian actress, I don't necessarily. It depends on what the role is. I don't always feel comfortable auditioning for something like that,
Mm,
Got it.
mm,
unless because I am clearly not fully Asian,
mhm.
so I like that's something that I'm trying to like be careful for with casting stuff because it's like I just feel like I don't want to take that role away from someone who is a better fit story wise, and also is just as, if not more, like talented. Like it's like the talent is out there, and that was what I thought was weird about, because I did read that interview.
Yeah,
like they were like, well, we were the characters, we were the best ones. It's like, I don't think that like there is a best. There are so many talented people out there that could do a great job in those roles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, so I think there's not always like the one.
Right. Also,
right
I always think
that.
that's a the sort of idea of the meritocracy, always selecting the best for something like that. I feel that might work if we're all robots, and there is a robot who, what I'm saying, like even take like a Google job, like is there a best programmer in the world? There's not like a global ranking of programmers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not as simple as like who can solve this Rubik's Cube the fastest. Like,
right.
You can't
exactly.
measure how good someone is.
It's hard to measure that. Like, of course there are people who are better speed wise or something, or whatever the fuck it is. But and then especially when it comes down to creativity,
right?
Sure, yeah.
Like an artistic thing, who's to say who's better or worse? It's
right.
That's impossible to do. Sure, I think there is a minimum level of singing ability, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But beyond that, then it gets hard. And then also, I mean, come on, like Broadway is like teeming with talent. It's like insane.
I mean, we went to go see Hamilton. That rando in the back not having one line, that guy probably could have done it too.
That was amazing.
Like it's just like every single one is already way past the the standard.
But I do think I don't know whether remember we had that fan who emailed us and was talking about how like
the beauty standards.
Yeah, like sometimes when they put Asian people on movies and the people there are like not the best looking Asians, And I feel like that kind of, I don't know, that mentality leads into selecting a certain kind of person for roles over and over again.
Sure,
like
sure.
A lighter skinned person with more Western features and whatever.
Yeah, I also think like colorism is it's kind of complicated for Asian people because, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. What I meant earlier by you've been called a ching chong is somebody who might be mixed, and some mixed people look more Asian than others,
an identifiably Asian person.
Some don't, and that's like fine. It's like I used to think, young me had this really funny meme that was like, I forget what the meme was exactly, what they're making fun of, but the text was East Asians being like Asian representation, and then Southeast Asian being like us too, right? And then they don't say anything like us too, right? And I'm guilty of that. I used to define like, oh, this is like, what kind of person do I want to see on TV or doing comedy? People who've been called ching chongs because that's who I am. That's who you are.
Right.
But I've got Filipino friends who like have big eyes and like they got tall noses and they're Asian too, and they may not have been called that, but they also count too. So like this argument I understand, but with like colorism with the Asian casting, like, some like when Henry Golden got the part, I'm sure a lot of people were like, of course they'd get a half person. But I also want to be careful not to be like, oh, I don't want to say he's not Asian. Right. You know what I mean? Like so I don't really have an answer, but I do want to be sensitive to like both sides. Like I hear the people complaining because like for sure in the eyes of the Hollywood, Henry Golding looks less Asian, dude. Like let's just face it, you know what I mean? And I'm sure that helped. But also like he has a Chinese mom, and I don't want to take that away from him.
You don't want to say that like somebody is not Asian enough.
Right.
That's kind of like a stupid thing to say. But then, the double criticism with that was like in Crazy Rich Asians, they like cast a certain kind of person as like the Asian people, and then there were people who are also Asian who are dark skinned who were like scary and like bad, right?
Yeah.
And I think that happens quite a bit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you ever watch I saw this one rendition of like Raiders of the Lost Ark or something like that, and the Indiana Jones movie, and it was in black and white, and there was no sound. There was just like like a black and white track, and you could still follow the movie because there were white characters, they were good, and there were dark characters who were bad, and you could just follow it without any. That's the medium of movies, So you watch those things, and it's like people will say that like, well, it's because they'll say it's because people like lighter skinned people better. We like good looking people better, and that's like
Why do you think that is?
Yeah,
because you made that fucking movie.
That's like so all that stuff is like coded into into the film. You know what I'm saying? And now it's hard to pull those things apart. So that's I think where the criticism has teeth, because then you can say, well, it's okay, you want to cast Henry Golding, he's also Asian, totally cool. But then like don't cast someone else who's also Asian as a bad person, and the difference between them is really that their skin color, right?
Well, also I think like it does suck with the casting decisions in this movie. I think that we can agree on that. But I think like another thing that was mentioned in that thing you shared was like, it also kind of sucks that there's so much pressure on this one movie.
Yes.
It has to like, it just, the stakes feel
It's
high,
so high
because there are not enough movies where it's like most of the cast is brown or black or Asian or like, so it's like you have to get everything right, it feels like, or else we won't get another shot. It's the scarcity idea. And that sucks, because that ultimately, like, you can point fingers at directors and producers and all that and casting directors, but also it's like point it at the whole fucking system.
Yeah.
That's really who's in charge.
I mean, that's so true. And we've talked about how if you're I guess not mainstream kind of project with people of color or what have you, then you have like double competition. You have to like pass like a double threshold, right? You have to not just be commercially successful, but then you also have to represent a certain community or the right way, and it's like so difficult to do all those things, whereas like other movies, they just have to be funny, or they just have to like, haha, this is like a whatever, like
the bar to entry is so much lower,
right? It's a quirky story, and even if they fail, it's all good. We'll throw you another one. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. This one.
Did you see Jon Stew's interview?
No, what did he say?
Well, he just gets uncomfortable and like kind of dodges the question.
Yeah.
But it's like that's also another layer of like complexity, because like he's out here just directing this movie about Hispanic people in Washington Heights, and a journalist straight up asks us like, why didn't you guys cast more dark skinned Afro Latinx people? And he says that's a great conversation that should be had.
Yeah,
that's what he says. But I don't even know.
Acting like a white dude.
Yeah, I mean that's the vibe I got, man. It's
nice.
like, but you know how it is, straight Asian guys. Sometimes we're white.
Sometimes
we say white shit.
Sometimes we go into the octagon.
I know, we go into the octagon, man.
Sometimes we're white.
Sometimes we're white, dude.
Sometimes we're white.
Sometimes we're white.
Boy.
But I did enjoy the movie. So am I allowed to plug it?
I mean, it's a good movie.
I liked it.
It's still. I mean, it's still a good
it
movie.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. Yeah.
It's cool. Lin-Manuel Miranda's in it. Jon M. Chu directed it. It's just like
But you know what? You said earlier. You said, "Hey, I didn't know that there were black people who spoke Spanish until I moved here."
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, why didn't we know that?
Right.
Because
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Like our friend Carolina, she's fluent in Spanish. I don't know what her family heritage is, right? Is she Panamanian or something?
Her mom is from Guatemala, and her dad is from Trinidad.
Right. So like she's fluent in Spanish, and I mean maybe if In the Heights had that, like kids today would not necessarily associate Spanish with people who look like Jennifer Lopez.
Right.
Right.
I have these valid criticisms, but like we all know, the system's the problem, and like we're I don't think people are like trying to like take him down.
No, they're not trying to take him down.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's good in that like that's why like if this was like let's cancel him, I would have been like but I think it's just more like, hey, now this article is out here. Now people are thinking about it. And it's just all about just being a little bit more conscious as you make the next film or as you go see something else.
Right.
And I think that's all people are asking for, because that's all you can really do.
Yeah, it is better than like, when they made West Side Story,
I haven't seen that. Is it all
the
white
new
people?
one?
No, the old one.
Yeah.
What's that one about? Is it's about Puerto Ricans, but it's all Matt Damon's?
Yes.
It's Matt Damon.
Well, and they darkened Maria's skin.
Right. Exactly.
She is Puerto Rican. Rita. What's her last name again? Mileto. But she's very fair and very white passing. But
wow. When did that come out?
It's very old.
Okay.
60s.
What if you're like yesterday?
Yeah, exactly.
But I do want the remake. That's coming. The reboot.
Oh yeah, that is coming out.
Also, the second chance.
Who's directing that one?
I don't know.
Jon Stewart.
Yeah, Jon Stewart. That's great. That's a great conversation we should have. Slide out of here.
Oh God. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you, Anals, and Julia, always love having you.
Julia, where
We always
can-
have
so much,
smart
guys.
conversations
We
when you're
do.
around.
I whenever I come on, I'm like, I am so not funny.
What? What
No.
is it?
I feel like we always talk about like the most serious shit, and like I'm like we can talk about porn too if you guys want.
No,
Like,
no, no,
you
Okay,
know.
we'll have you on. We'll talk about
If
porn.
you want to
Okay.
do a porn app, we can do that. We
I
can arrange
don't,
that.
but
well,
I
see,
just-
we
I
just
We can, but I don't
But I
want
mean
to.
something like something silly.
okay. We can work on that. I do enjoy because you're very smart, and I do enjoy hearing your takes. There is like a self-serving aspect to booking you. I think for us, we're just like
Auntie J can be fun too. Just want everyone out there to know.
Well, where
it
can our
be-
fans find fun on TJ?
You can follow me at Julia Shiplett everywhere.
Nailed it.
on all the platforms.
All the platforms,
TikTok? You on
including Venmo.
Hey,
I don't have Patreon, so that's my little Patreon. Uh,
give us some money, man.
I'm not really. Are you? You guys are big on TikTok.
No, we're not big. We
Not
just
big.
post. We just
We
post
just post.
podcasts.
We just like
Oh,
put our
really?
shit up
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Mike's pretty good at it.
Yeah?
I mean, like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to do more.
Oh yeah, you are.
I'm
yeah,
just trying to like
Yeah.
get out there. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
it's, like, a
I'm
whole other
not.
thing.
I'm not doing the.
I think you would do great though
You would do
because
so good.
like
You're little. You have so many characters. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And you have that Comedy Central clip. Just cut it up. Put little 60-second clips of it. I guarantee it'll go viral. All of them.
Whoa.
Yeah, because
Just
it's
gotta do
already
a little
like in a professional quality. That's like half.
That's
of
a
it.
big thing.
Shit.
Yeah, making like making it work for the platform so that people will stop for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
a big one. You should
Okay.
do it.
There
You
you
would do it. You would crush it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, check out Auntie J on TikTok, maybe in a month or so. Please follow us on all the platforms at Asian.Asian.pod. I'm also on there at the Fumiabe. That's TheFumiAbe.
You can find me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro.
We think it's July 16th. We're doing another Hack City live at Union Hall, 7:30. It's earlier this time, so please come out. Ticket links are gonna be in the episode description and or our Instagram bio link. So we'd love to see you there. And leave a review. Subscribe to our Patreon. We need that money.
We do.
And
We're gonna be
anything
trying
else?
to do other fun stuff on Patreon. All right, Patreon.
Oh, yeah,
and
we
do
have some
other
plans.
kind of content.
We have some plans. But Anals, we love you. Auntie J, any last words?
I think you two should really write that musical.
maybe that's our niche. You know.
Can either of
Musical.
You
on
can do music
Patreon.
stuff. I'll fake choreograph it.
Oh, you should choreograph
I'll fake
me,
choreograph
dude.
it. Yeah. Dude.
Oh my God.
It'll be great.
Don't take this idea. Anals, we love you. Bye.
Bye.